Peace Lutheran Church has a history of making room, whether it's a place to sit in worship or for an idea for a new ministry or activity. In 1963, the South Dakota American Mission Committee bought 4.5 acres of land outside the city limits of Sioux Falls in an area called Western Heights. 41st Street was not paved, and many charter members remember hunting pheasants just south of the new church. On June 11th, Peace Lutheran's charter congregation was organized. There were 59 families, 119 children enrolled in Sunday school. Pastor Paul Sanders was called and installed as the first pastor. By the end of 1965, Peace Lutheran saw a 40% increase in baptized members. The congregation became self-supporting in 1969. In 1972, the decision was made to make room and add on. Sunday school enrollment was too large for the existing space. Construction began in 1973 and was completed in 1974. The new sanctuary, which is the current fellowship hall, held its first worship service on March 31st, and by September, membership increased 22%. In order to make room, a second service was added. In 1997, the congregation again decided to make room. The new sanctuary opened in 1998. There are currently 5 weekly worship services, and membership has grown 70% in the last 11 years.
When the parking lot is full or hard to navigate, that tends to be unwelcoming, and people are frustrated with the experience even before they get in through the door. Parking is a huge necessity for any church, and it has become doubly important for us here at Peace, where we have noticed we've had a shortage of parking for at least the last 7 years.
Is that I've worked with and in lots of other churches. I have never seen or worked in a place that uses all of its space like this place does.
Well, I think that one of the biggest frustrations that people have voiced over the last few years is the move that we made a while back to go to 4 services, and with that 4-service schedule, our target time for worship is 50 minutes. 50 minutes. There's not a whole lot you can get done in 50 minutes.
We don't have room for the growing numbers of people who want to share their faith in this context, and it's a delightful problem for a congregation to have. But it nevertheless is a source of great frustration, I think, for many people who find themselves kind of rushed on Sunday morning.
With only 2 places to practice, the music room and the sanctuary, makes it a little difficult. Our Wednesday nights, we run rehearsals in both places concurrently, running 4 hours straight. So it doesn't give us too much room for leeway for extended rehearsals.
And right now we are just everywhere with kids, and registrations happen all the time.
And sometimes just for the large demand of 40-something kids, it doesn't even have to be a gym activity. Even if it's a just simple sing-along or whatever, you need more space than what we have now.
And on a Wednesday night, every nook and cranny is being used for some type of activity. We've got adults in the Shalom room, we've got confirmation kids in the fellowship hall, classrooms A through E, plus nooks and crannies because they don't all fit in a classroom. And then there are other rooms that are being used for Sunday school. We have music programs going on.
Peace has been blessed with a lot of growth in our average worship attendance, and we are to the point to finding, not only to find more seats in the worship space, but more places to park. There's really no way more around the parking issue except to develop more parking space. But once that space has been developed, it opens up a host of other opportunities for the much needed expansion and elbow room of our programming and of our Sunday morning worship. We get the parking lot in place, and all these other things can begin to happen that will vitalize and provide for the ministry of Peace Lutheran for many years to come.
And so one of the hopes is that this capital campaign can do is to create another space where we can have a simultaneous or a concurrent worship service. And by doing that, we can then not only make room for more people, but we can go back to a 3-service schedule. We can have a full hour for worship. We can do all kinds of things that we can't do now. And people will, I think, appreciate a more relaxed sort of environment around here on Sunday morning.
And what has happened this year is all of a sudden properties have become available. And not just the 3 that we originally thought, but the 2 additional properties behind the 3, almost as if the Spirit was telling us, you need more parking than you thought you needed, and here is this gift.
In order for the youth to know that they are the church and they are a priority, we have to prove it. We have to prove it by showing it to them. And what better way to show it than to say, this is the space, this is your home, this is your church.
Storage space would be nice. Additional rooms, maybe 2 larger rooms that could still be utilized for children and adults.
I even recall back to the 1973 building, actually, and I remember that when the sanctuary is built and children come right along. And obviously many of us remember the 1998 building, and then Sunday school rooms added at that time, and of course the enrollment grows, Vacation Bible School grows, it all partners and goes hand in hand.
So we would be able to have large group rehearsals, we'd be able to combine rehearsals, it would give us space for liturgical dancers, it would give us space for children's musical rehearsals, and also it would give us an opportunity to create storage for our musicians to bring their instruments, music equipment when necessary, and have that stored.
Maybe having 2 services going on at the same time, which could give us a lot more flexibility in our planning and also make room for more people.
The idea that we could create space for groups to meet, for more ministry to happen, is just so exciting to me.
You and I are partners in a thriving ministry. In fact, Peace Lutheran Church is one of only a handful of large congregations in the ELCA that is rapidly growing. And because we are a thriving congregation, we are running out of room. Now is the time to invest in our future here at Peace by providing space for our ministries. And that means space for parking, that means new worship space, that means space for our children and youth ministries. And to make it happen, it's going to take sacrificial giving by this congregation over and above our regular gifts. We have all been so richly blessed by the ministry here at Peace Lutheran. And now we have a chance to take the blessing we have received here in this place and to pass it on so that others who are just as much in need can come here and have a room for them to experience the love of Christ. This ministry is not just one we share, but it is the ministry God has called us to participate in as we are able. So each of us is invited to take the time and discern how generous we can be as we make this investment in our future of ministry here in this place. And there will be blessing not only in the giving, but there will be blessing in being a partner in this exciting place whose ministry continues to unfold. So let us respond to the love that God has shown us and pass it on. Thanks.
You've experienced it, He spread His love to everyone. You are